Hello, Algebra. We're going to take a look at a few more incidentals with quadratic formula. So let's take a look. We'll address questions for 9-4 worksheet in class. There we go. So if we're looking at our quadratic formula, remember this is what our quadratic formula looks like. Opposite of b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so, and that is only true if my formula has a squared term, an x term, a c term, or sometimes there's a 0 for one of these. But if there's that squared term in there and it's equal to 0, I need to do the quadratic formula. But what about this? Here, I need to solve this first, like in example number 8 that we just looked at. So the very first step of this is to solve this. So I've got to move my 2 over by subtracting 2 from both sides. That'll give me then 5x squared minus 3x minus 2 equals 0. Now that I have that, I can do my quadratic formula. Okay? So, first step, identify your a. Oops, I don't want to do that over that. My a, my b, and my c. What's my a? 5. What's my b? -3. What's my c? -2. And I can go from there. Okay? So, I would like you to pause the video. I would like you to take your quadratic formula, and I would like you to plug things in. So the opposite of b would be 3 plus or minus the square root 3, -3 squared. Remember, that's always going to be positive. 4a c all over 2, and a is 5. Okay? So, do the math, figure out an answer, see if you can get the same answer I do. I'm going to go do the math and come back and we'll talk through it. Great. Okay, if you did your math correctly, you should have got 9 when you did your -3 squared. You should have got 40 here. Altogether, that makes 49, positive 40, so it's 9 plus 40. That makes 49, which is equivalent to 7. The square root of 49 is 7. So then I separate things out. So I have 3 plus 7 over 10, which gives me 1. This is 10 over 10. And then -4 divided by 10. I'm going to put that in a decimal because one of the things I ask you to do is tell me what that graph might look like. So if I'm looking at that graph, here I am, okay? Where is my first solution? 1. So here's a 1. Where's my other solution? -0.4. And what's my graph look like? It looks like that. I don't know where my vertex is. That's okay. But that is what my graph is going to look like. Okay. Number 2, we're not going to solve that one. We're just going to kind of talk through it and go from there. What do I have to do first? I got to solve that. It's not equal to 0, so I've got to solve it. So -7 on both sides. Look, here, over here, I didn't have a number to do, to add my -2 to, but here I do. So I need to actually solve this. So what am I going to get? I'm going to get 3x squared minus x, and 5 plus -7 is -2 equal to 0. And now, what's your a? 3. What's your b? Ooh, what number's in front of that? Yep, -1. What's your c? It's -2. And then you would plug those in and go from there. Okay? So that is how I would do that. If you want to plug and chug this out, you can. and we can talk about the solution when you get to class. Number 3, we're going to take a look at in class. Oh, number 3 must be down here further. But what's your A, what's your B, what's your C? My A is 1, my B is 6, my C is 30. Okay? Let's take a look at that, and then we're going to do number 4 in class. So let's see, opposite of B is -6 plus or minus the square root of 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 30. Okay, all over, I keep forgetting to do that extra parentheses, all over 2, what's my A? 1. Okay, so I've got the opposite of 6 plus or minus. I've got my square root. What do I have in there? 36 and -4 times 30 is going to give me -120 all over 2. What's going to happen here? What's going to happen there? I'm going to have -6 plus or minus the square root of what? What's 36 minus 120? That's -84 all over 2. Here's the thing. We can't have a negative number underneath there. You can't do that. So this answer doesn't exist. If we were going to have a graph and my parabola is graphed, maybe it's up here, I don't know because I don't know where my vertex is, but this graph does not hit my x-axis, so there's no solution here. Okay, so if I get a negative number under here, keeping in mind that up here, I need to make sure I have a -4 times a -2 on this last one, okay, which would have made that positive 40, not -40, because then you would have got a negative number up there. Do good math. Here, if I get an actual negative number under here, then my answer is no solution, okay? We'll look at number 4 and see how many solutions we have on number 4 in class, and we'll go from there. God bless.